and opens that door wide open for new people, new revenue streams to get on that course. Right, now we're here. So, over the last few events that we've had, I've had quite a lot of questions asking about video, about how we got started, and also about the equipment that we use and how much of a difference that makes. Now, this is just a quick video because there's a much longer story that goes into how we got started, and that essentially came from an iPhone. Now, it was accidental. We started completely by accident. I run SegnaTech Limited, which is a data analytics business that works beyond spreadsheets for multi-location businesses in the Northeast and surrounding areas, helping them scale, optimize expenditure, and everything in between. If they've got a problem statement, they come to us, we look at the data, we give them an answer. Out of that, being a startup, I was struggling to market it. I was struggling to get a steady pipeline going, a steady stream of income. And I just started taking videos with my phone. I bought a cheap £200 drone on the Amazon Prime Day sales and just started experimenting. And I actually realised that although I enjoy data, I enjoy the numbers, the thing I'm actually good at isn't sitting down and working out them numbers. The thing that I'm good at is using them numbers and being creative on how we implement them within a business to get a result that actually drives business operational efficiency improvements, pipeline improvements, visibility improvements. It's something that just came naturally. So we started from a phone and I said, I'm not going to scale this up. I'm not going to go further. I'm not going to try and make this into something that's not. So we're just going to roll with it. That paid off, because every penny we got in from the media got reinvested. Till we're at the point now where we've got the nice cameras, we've got the lights, we've got the computer, we've got the capability. Now, what you'll be surprised to see is not everything is filmed on this camera here. This camera's great, does up to 6K. We can film open gates, so that means that we can crop our stuff down from landscape into a short, vertical, and not lose any resolution. That's brilliant, but the problem with that is memory cards, especially in today's economy, are through the roof expensive. Now, when we look at that in terms of business, it's not great. You can get a slightly cheaper memory card in a micro SD format for better value. Most footage, again, doesn't look too far different when it's extracted and put onto social media, which is the predominant part of what our footage is used for, and what our edits are used for is businesses' social media accounts. So actually, a lot of our footage was always from the iPhone. And currently I've got the iPhone 17 Pro, started with the 16 Pro Max. And we've sort of carried on with that. Not so much now, because the clunkiness of the Osmo gimbal and setting that up, and then you don't have your phone to hand to do other admin stuff on the job, or to log things, to check your calendar, notifications, alarms. I would miss loads of alarms and loads of important calls when I was filming content because my phone was out of action recording, and it fills up your memory quick. So in terms of that, we invested first to solve the memory issue before the price of the SD cards went up into a Lexar Professional Go. This is a 1 terabyte hard drive. You can get the 2 terabyte as well. Comes in a lovely little case I've got somewhere, little pouch. It's got the attachment on, so that actually hooks on the back of your phone. directly, it sits dead flush. You're only adding that much girth onto your phone. So when you're filming, it doesn't unbalance a gimbal, it doesn't get in the way, because originally I tried to cheat and I tried to use a Samsung, that's in my camera bag, a Samsung T7 hard drive, stick it to the back of the phone with my MagSafe strips, and that became so cumbersome. And it became cumbersome at the wrong job. We were on a promotional shoot for a fashion show for cancer research, and the wire that was coming out of the phone into the hard drive to allow us to film in ProRes was unbalancing the gimbal. So we got to that point where we were filming an entire event only 5 minutes into a 7 or 8 hour event, holding the phone, holding the hard drive, trying to rely on our own stability, which we managed with. We got the results, and the client was really impressed with that. And that was for Cancer Research UK as well, so that was quite a big opportunity, which wasn't paid other than expenses. Again, doing free work, I highly advise against free work or reduced work. I would rather do the free work over reduce my prices. But in terms of that, that's what that was, to get us in the market, get a bit of experience. Went down really well. Network from that followed on. We ended up doing some work in a nice area, the underside of Newcastle, for a few more wealthy clients, showing the Christmas decorations off with the drone, with the handheld footage, and a few photos on a really cheap old DSLR camera that I'd bought to try and elevate the photography a little bit. And again, feeling like I was coming into that part of the game with a phone, with big clients, was, and we're back again, just nearly flooded the bathroom. The joys of ADHD. Siobhan was texting about 6 million times, babe, you can't flood the bathroom. Didn't flood it, was close though. But yeah, going into sort of high wealth areas to do video that people were impressed by. They honestly probably didn't care that I was rocking up with a phone and a gimbal, because they go for outcomes. And it never really affected, but I felt like I was looking like a bit of a cheapskate. I felt like I was overcharging because I used my phone, when phones are really more powerful than people give them credit for. So I reinvested all the money just before Christmas. Did a Newcastle footballer, his house, inside with his family. Really sort of flattering to get these opportunities as such a small entity. But that's elevated us. We've started doing a lot more in events in the corporate space, because the corporate space realistically pays better, people understand the value, and it's a lot more consistent than working on a consumer base. We still do the consumer work, but working in that respect is a lot more easy to sustain a level of income. The initial drive then turned into, right, let's see how long it takes us to get to earning the national minimum wage from as little hours as possible from the phone, and scale that. That took us roughly 3 months to consistently get to that level, which was mind-blowing. And that was all thanks to Paul at DBB Sports, who I now work with Siobhan on an ongoing basis. We've got that retainer level there, where we're helping him build up DBB Sports and the media, and helping them with a presence. And that has sustained us. He invested a small amount in the beginning into helping us with a gimbal, some equipment, no more than what he would have paid for a half a day shoot, for example. But the initial part was there, and it was that one person in that time frame that believed in what we were out to do and believed that we could do it, that followed us through. There's a lot of luck in starting your own business, and a lot of that is down to the network and the people you associate yourself with. We learn, we do what we do, we'll figure out a business model that sort of works for us with our family, and that's what we have done. But it was that 1, 2, maybe 3 early clients that consistently believed in what we were doing that got us to this point. All we can say is that we are very grateful, but this is a tester for the camera in this light, and I've rambled on for long enough, so I'm going to go and get a wash.